administrative.
I guess I'm adding a bit of youth to the panel.
Also, where are my crisps?
Second in the world's pretty cool.
The Kookaburra Ball can do one, all right? Hello and welcome to Under the Lid, the Pro Cricketers podcast. With me, Jack Brooks, and...
me, Katherine Sciver-Brunt.
A legend. Now, just before we start, I'll just raise a sad condolences to family and friends and everyone at Kent Cricket to the English cricketing legend and probably England's greatest spin bowler, deadly Derek Underwood, who sadly passed away today after a lengthy illness. No, it would be a huge loss to his family and friends, and definitely to Kent Cricket and the wider cricketing community down there. So all the best to the family with that, and it's obviously very sad news. But
really sad news.
Episode 3, Katherine.
Yes, sad to lose a legend, but from one of the legends to hopefully another one coming up on our episode today, which is episode 3. We're getting there, aren't we? 23 more to go. We've got a guest who's enjoyed a steep rise in the women's game. She's currently holds the world's best strike rate in ODIs. And she's also got 3 Rachel Hayhoe Flint trophy wins already. So she's not bad.
How many have you got?
0. To be fair, like if I'd played in the team, 1. But I was England duties always.
Yeah, but you're an English legend, aren't you? So that matter. Yeah, of course. It's Charlie Dean. She's our third guest on here on the Under the Lid podcast. Off-spinning all-rounder with Southern Vipers in England. And just as always on our socials, if you want to get in touch with us, please hashtag Under the Lid. And
yes.
or email us on hello@underthelid.co.uk.
Sounds like an advert. Lovely that. And if you didn't know, this podcast is brought to you in partnership with the PCA and the Cricketer, whose outstanding coverage of domestic cricket online has been recognised for 6 years in a row, no less, at the ECB Domestic Journalism Awards. How good.
Yeah, we don't just put this together, we get good partners, don't we?
We do. Get the best on.
Now I've noticed you've got a different background this week and you are back home, aren't you?
I have. I'm in my own home for once, which is always a shock. So I am experiencing quite a fair bit of delirium. As Instagram showed me up yesterday, Nat quite happily put on a video of me in full delirium in the garden. It's just one of them things, innit? Like, I'm so jet lagged. I've jet lagged, and there's this thing, right? If ever there's some sunshine, which is rare, as we know in the UK, Nat goes outside and she has a little salute to the sun, i.e. a little bit of a stretch. I know, some salutations is a thing, guys. I don't partake in it. I'm a little bit of a, old school northerner. So that sort of stuff's past me, but I just jumped on the balcony and I thought I'd take the mick out of her for 30 seconds. And I turned around and she was filming the whole thing. So I apologise for the feral dressing gown and morning
it's
scenes.
gone viral, isn't it? You're a viral sensation.
Who knows? I mean, it was quite funny, to be fair, that she did get me. I did manage to get a bit of family time in, which is always rare, as any cricketer, professional cricketer knows, or athlete in general. It's one of the sacrifices you make in it. So I'm trying to, make up for that and see my family when I can. I'm one of 6, so I've got a fair few brothers and sisters, and then the nieces and nephews have really racked up. I've lost count. I think I've got a nephew and 2 nephews. Sorry, and
lost count at 1.
3 nieces. God knows. It's too much. So that's been really lovely. Back to normality. And then, watching the golf. I've really, off topic from the old cricket. I love the Masters, love the Ryder Cup. Wish I could play golf better than I do. But that's been great. So, bit of normality. It's always nice. How about yourself, Jack? What have you been up to?
reasonably similar, except I don't watch any golf. I usually would stay up and watch the Masters, particularly the last night. But I went to bed at 9 o'clock last night. I was absolutely knackered. I had a really busy few days. The week itself was pretty busy. A lot of coaching. I was parenting on my own because my partner was working abroad, which is part of our deal. So when she's away working, I'm looking after Big Billy. So
Big Billy.
yeah, I was just really busy back end of the week with coaching. I had a full day's coaching on Friday and Thursday, and then Saturday I was coaching my new local side, who I've signed on for, Banbury, in the Home Counties Prem, who I'm head coach of. So my first bowl outside as well. So I was a bit stiff, I got sore calves. I only bowled 2 overs and grass, but it's like running on sand at this time of year. It was really sapping.
Never good.
No.
It always takes a good few weeks, doesn't it, to dust that off? Terrible.
Well, it used to, and I think it's going to take a bit longer this year because I've not bowled as much this winter as well. So I'm, you know what it's like at our age. It's just like all the rust is falling off you. And you know what? Because the weather's been so nice, I was out in shorts and t-shirt, sunglasses all day coaching, stood in blaring sunshine. So I ended up with a bit of colour, but I've actually got a bit of sunburn on the back of my neck. And I only knew this when I had a shower, and obviously when you get a bit of hot water on it, it stings. I'm like, oh God, that's a bit schoolboy, isn't it? Nothing to be proud of.
Classic English behaviour, isn't it? Burnt to a crisp as soon as the sun appears. Fantastic.
In April.
I know. Well, it happens. I got burnt to a crisp in March, pre-season once, Loughborough Uni.
Not up north, surely.
It was good though, to be fair. I needed factor 30. I wish we could have had that now. That is enough of us, isn't it? Let's get to the juicy bit, right? And she made her debut 15 years and 214 days in a list A match, opening the batting for Hampshire against Staffordshire, no less.
She's been around a while. She's only, 25?
Yes, I'm sure she could tell us, but that's just baby, innit?
Very young.
Absolute baby. Yeah, she's also very gritty, competitive, impactful, dry-humoured and mischievous cricketer, as well as a lovely human being.
Sounds familiar,
so
Brunty.
let's welcome our mate, Charlie Dean.
Hey, what an introduction that was. Thanks, Katherine.
Some brilliant stats on there. I'm learning a lot about you already.
23 also, by the way. You're
Is
adding
it?
a
Yeah,
few years,
I thought that was a bit harsh. I did say young woman.
You're just a very mature young woman, aren't you?
Well,
you need to just take us through that Hampshire versus Staffordshire debut, this day game, and how many runs did you get in it?
I have absolutely no idea. Not a clue.
Tom's quite happily telling us it was one.
Oh, one. Oh, well. There we go. One not out, I'm sure.
One for the memory bank.
It's gone up since then, hopefully.
As dramatically.
So. Dean, it's lovely to meet you. I don't think we've crossed paths at all before in cricket, other than obviously seeing you play on TV and knowing of you. Are you jet lagged as well as Brunty or not?
I think I got back a few days before you, but there's been a couple of early mornings, but I think I'm about there now. I'm about on the right sleep schedule.
In case you didn't realise, Katherine was on holiday out there for 3 months, just drinking wine.
Yeah, a few wine tours I've had.
Not just wine, so I like IPAs, lager.
Karaoke.
But it was full of good experiences and not training hard like yourself. Right, New Zealand. You've obviously been once before, I think.
Mm.
What was the difference between that trip and this trip?
Well, I guess first time I went was World Cup, sort of first World Cup, first real, year of playing for England. So I certainly feel a lot more experienced now, sort of a couple of years on. Definitely, feel a lot more comfortable in the side and I feel like I know my game a bit more. So it was nice to sort of go back with some fond memories, but then sort of, build on that. It was really good. And, New Zealand's such a good place to tour. There's something familiar about it, but it's a beautiful country as well.
With obviously with being in the limelight, playing for England, it's a bit of a contrast. I think it's more of a contrast for us females as it is for the males. It feels like when you become a pro cricketer, it's very much sort of limelight for the even for list A cricketers in the men's side. But for us, it's like you're in the dark in list A games, like absolutely no one knows you or sees you play, and then suddenly you're on this England platform, and now there's no sort of transition. There is sort of now, I guess, but there certainly wasn't like even just 2 years ago. So, how have you dealt with that, like quick rise into the limelight, and how's it going?
Yeah, I guess, well, before I played my first game for England, I wasn't a contracted professional or anything like that. I was just, yeah, pay as you play at Vipers. I had first year of the 100 to sort of, you know, throw you into a bit bigger crowds and you know, a bit more of a spectacle around the game. And then, yeah, I guess first sort of international game. So it was a bit of a whirlwind kind of beginning to, you know, my international career. But something that I sort of look back on and I'm really like grateful for, I guess, especially now. Like I feel like it was quite overwhelming at first, and I probably, you know, struggled a bit, but I can sort of look back on that and yeah, I guess be how like proud I am of how I dealt with, you know, a bit of a catapulting into a bit more of public eye or yeah, scrutiny. And now sort of, not that everything's easier, you know, it probably gets harder as you go into it, and people start to know your game and work you out, and you've got to, you know, keep getting better. But it's certainly, I feel used to going out into bigger crowds and you know, being on TV. I think like my first 100 game, I was pretty nervous, just being on TV. You know, we're on the BBC, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is, you know, it's a bit more big time than your county cricket Hampshire days getting one, you know, on your debut. So yeah.
I know it just doesn't quite prepare you, does it? And there is obviously things in place to help, but it's just like one big blast. Like here you go. Can you do that? Also, can you perform well and think straight while you're doing it? But also, you need to keep coming back, even though you're not sure how to deal with it. It's just like it's just a bit much, isn't it? But you have to learn on the job and sort of just crack on and keep going, don't you? And I find I find I've seen that so much more in the last 5 years watching you guys come through. It's great because you have to find a way, don't you? Because if you want to do the thing you love, it's I'm kind of making it out to sound like it's an alone journey. It's definitely not. You're not alone, but you kind of are at the same time. So, but it's
Yeah, well,
great.
someone like Lauren Filer, you know, coming up playing, you know, only a couple of professional games, and then he's into the Ashes and a Test match, and like it's pretty exciting, you know, how you can go so quickly, but also like pretty daunting in terms of how much do you have to, you know, behind your game to really rely on in those pressure moments, I guess. So well, it's all just about building on that now and learning on the job, I guess, as you say.
Yeah, it's mental. You're now the second highest ranked T20 bowler in the world, which is fabulous, fantastic. I don't remember the last time I thought about, like my own self achievements and accolades till somebody said something once, and I was like, "Oh, am I? Oh, I'd quite like to be number one now." and then you start thinking, don't you? I doubt you're that kind of person that has those things in mind, but now that that's dangled there, does it feel like expectations are a bit more on you now, and do you want to reach that little bit further to number one?
Well, I'm not too sure how they work out these rankings really, because if you look, you know, at the best bowlers in T20, I don't think I'd put myself there, to be honest. Whether that's just me being, you know, critical of myself, but I guess I don't think I'd be in the position or taking the wickets that I would without, you know, the teammates and bowlers that I have around me. You know, people such as yourself. You know, a year ago, you know, Belly opening the bowling, Eccles at the other end, Glennie. Like, I guess those bowlers being so economical allows me as an off spinner to take the wickets I do, which then gets me those stats. But I wouldn't, you know, if I was in another team, I don't think I'd have the stats that I do. So I think with things like that, it's always good to be realistic, I guess. But I mean, not taking away from, second in the world is pretty cool. But I don't think I'm quite ready for number one. Sophie
she's too
Eccles can
nice,
have
isn't
that.
she?
Far too humble.
She's too nice, too humble, and self-deprecating always.
Always.
Always. But yeah, like the partner, I personally think, not being biased either, I just feel like we've always had, whether it's been yourself or the likes of Laura Marsh, Danny Hazel, we've always had a very good off spinner come along, and then the partnership with a Sarah Glenn or a Sophie Eccleston left arm or leg spin has just been, I feel that we've always had the best off spinning partnerships ever. Like if me and Anya can't do anything and we just bore the crap out of bads at the beginning, you guys always come in, always control that middle bit and always find a way to make a breakthrough. So I think you're part of that, and you should definitely be proud of that. And as it is, you're the fastest woman to 50 ODI wickets. Like that is something that you've got to recognise and just say, "Well done, me." less of that self-deprecation, and just realise the achievement, because you've had some really great achievements this summer. And everything I said in the welcome is very true. And you're still here, and you're getting better by the season. So it's great. Keep going.
What does that
Thanks.
stat mean to you, Charlie, when you hear it? Fastest woman ever to 50 ODI wickets.
Yeah, it's a bit unbelievable, I think. I guess I was sort of aware that I had a pretty decent strike rate in 50 over cricket, but it wasn't on the radar at all, actually. So it was a bit of a shock when I think I was bowling and I got a wicket and it was sort of announced. I was like, what's that? On the ground. It went round, and yeah, I guess after the game it was a bit of reflection as to how whirlwind my sort of couple of years of playing for England has been, and I guess it's being able to reflect and be, oh, how good's that? But I think I'm always someone who wants to keep getting better, and how can I get another 50? How can I stay in the England team for as long as possible? And yeah, I guess I've just got to keep evolving. And but yeah, I'm definitely proud of where I've come from, because I guess one game for England was so big for me that getting 50 wickets in ODIs is pretty insane. So I'm definitely proud of that. And something that wasn't on the radar. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Keep enjoying it along the way. So you do have some cricketing pedigree in your family. I was doing some delving into your background, and like most young sportsmen and women, we probably start by playing with siblings or parents, don't we, in the back garden or down your local. And you'll probably know different by the sound of things in the terms of your dad does actually have a List A record, and he would have played a lot of minor counties cricket for Staffordshire, I believe. You can tell us a little bit more about him and the influence he's maybe had on your career, and have you got any sort of friendly competition with him now going forward?
Yeah, well, I guess my dad, Steve Dean, played for Staffordshire and minor counties, and he's always got a good story to tell. I think one of my favourites is he got 99 at Lords and got caught hitting. He hit the ball back and it hit the non-striker's bat and went up, and he got caught on 99 at Lords.
That's unfortunate.
In a I'm not sure it was List A, but yeah, in a game there, and he always talks about that. So whenever I play at Lords, he's like, I got 99 there once. I'm like, wow. So I guess my goal is to one up him. So
yeah,
definitely
got a bit of time for that. So, but yeah, he's been pretty instrumental in starting me off in my career, and he was always a bit of a gritty, gutsy player, and I think that's something that I kind of taken with me. And yeah, there's a few stories about how he played his cricket. He was a stickler for the rules, but he also always found a way to bend them or something like that. So, but yeah, he was pretty big, and he's always always following my game now. You'll find him at whatever game we play all around the country. He'll be there, which is really lovely, and it's quite nice to share that with him now. And I guess he's sort of not playing anymore, but sort of plays through me, and always get a bit of a debrief after every game, and it's always good to bring you back down to earth.
100%. I'm sure he's extremely proud of you and what you're doing, and it gives him a lot of enjoyment traveling around the country watching you.
Yeah,
Number one fan, cricket badger. Well, anyway, on batting, whilst we're on the subject of scoring runs, your partnership with Amy Jones just recently, record-breaking partnership. What's your view on batting now? Obviously, as soon as you get to like sort of 7 and below, not necessarily in men's game, but definitely women's game, you're seen as a bit of a tail ender or something like that. And I've always hated that a lot because I don't know about you, but personally, I enjoyed batting more than bowling. Not that I ever spent any time trying to be better. But the one thing I couldn't handle was never being taken seriously. You're just not a batter. Do you feel like that's happened to you before, and now that's changing, and you're really enjoying your batting?
Yeah, I think sort of as a kid, I was always a batter. I sort of throughout the age groups, I always opened the batting or was in and around the batting world. But I guess everyone else got a bit bigger and a bit stronger, and I couldn't quite keep up in that way. But it's something that I enjoy so much. And I probably up until a couple of years ago spent more time on my batting than I did my bowling. So yeah, it is kind of been hard. You don't want to be written off in a way because that deep down you can hold a bat, you can do the job. I guess my battle's always been with strike rate. I've always been a bit gritty and trying to be there for long periods of time, and then into those 7, 8, 9 roles, you're expected to come in and blast it from ball one, and maybe that's not my game, but I'm trying to evolve and put my hand up where I can. And I've definitely enjoyed trying to work out ways to get better without time in middle as such. But I'm hopefully looking forward to this summer, trying to get a bit of time out there in regional cricket and get a few stats behind how good I think I could be. But yeah, I enjoy my batting, and it's something that as I go on, I'd love to be a bit more of an all-rounder and contributing with bat and ball. But equally, it's hard to get up the batting order in this England side, and in regional cricket really there's a lot of strong talent out there. So I guess it's more a case of keep working hard and hopefully keep working in the gym as well, and I'll get those boundaries and up that strike rate and move around a bit.
Definitely. And I think it'll just cement your place even more. Like, you've seen how important it is. Obviously, on a few wickets like that, surfaces like that in New Zealand, it's really important. Myself and you have been in some tricky situations like that before, and I would say they'd want someone like you when that time came around. You're definitely that kind of player, definitely. So having that as well as the power game just cement your place in that team and make you a better all-round cricketer, because we know where it's going, don't we? Franchise cricket, T20 cricket, absolutely everywhere. It's a bit mental, isn't it? Moving on to the EWPP. Obviously a really great thing that came into form in 2017, I believe. Obviously I know a bit about that, but you've been fully on that committee now for a while. Can you explain it for our listeners what it is and what your role is on that?
Yeah, I guess the England Women's Player Partnership is just a way for the players and the PCA to sort of connect and us to like work through and communicate what us as players, what we feel like needs to be done, or things we can work on. Player voices are so important. So I'm lucky enough to be on a board with Amy Jones, Nat Sciver-Brunt, and Heather Knight. So I guess I'm adding a bit of youth to the to the panel, a bit of a different voice, different experience. Trying to get the sort of newer players to be really interested in the ways in which women's cricket's growing, and what we need, and what will help us grow off the pitch, on the pitch, things like that. And I guess just a communication through from players to PCA, things like that.
Do you enjoy that, like administrative role? Why can't I speak?
Are you okay, Jack?
Do you enjoy that sort of role? Is it something you potentially will look at later in life, or have you not thought about post career things?
Yeah, I think I did a degree in sociology, so sort of rights and politics, and a bit of gender studies, things like that. So I think I'm also so interested in the growth of the women's game. I'm so invested. I think anything we can do to try and keep making movements and invest in the game, I'm certainly interested in. I think the PCA are doing a brilliant job at the moment of trying to get our voices heard and things like that. So yeah, I'm certainly interested and want to try, I guess, engage myself with PCA and everything that they offer, but also try and get the other girls engaged too, because I know sometimes, especially when you're on the younger side, you're not really as bothered. You're just there to play cricket, but actually, the things off the pitch do matter quite a bit. And the more that we can get all the girls, really invested in that, then, the more that we can grow and get those opinions heard. And if I can play a small part in that, then yeah, I'm happy.
That's fantastic. So really, let's go under the lid with some of your views on where the women's game is in England and Wales at the minute. Do you have any particular outstanding views on the game in this country, or do you feel like, where do you think the schedule is, the formats? Obviously, the 100's done really well for women's cricket. There's a lot going on going forward as well. Do you have anything in particular that comes to mind?
Well, yeah, I guess sort of the double headers with the 100 and things like that has really been great to put women's cricket on a pedestal that it probably hasn't had before. And I guess, with the Darwin project coming up and realigning of regions with men's counties, it's only going to be more exciting and get women's cricket more on the map. If someone asks me, what team I play for, and I say Southern Vipers, like, they might not know, but had I have said Hampshire or Sussex, then they'd be right on board. So I guess looking forward to the next couple of years and seeing where that all leads with the bids that have come in. It's just, it can only be a good thing. Super exciting to realign and really move forward and take it in a place where women's cricket and domestic cricket comes lots more marketable, which I think it deserves to be. We've been through a bit of a building phase, and the talent in this country has improved significantly, even within 2-3 years of the regional program. So it's just a super exciting time, I guess, to be in women's cricket and to invest in it. We've seen the women's WSL and how much that's growing, how much people are engaged with it, and I guess it's exciting to see how we can move forward with that. And I guess with the Ashes last summer, how much engagement we had as England, and how we can really push that into domestic cricket. It's pretty cool.
The input's great, isn't it, from the ECB and the PCA sorting this through, and it's going to be great to see who gets this tier 1 status. I'm really excited to see who gets it, because there's been some fantastic bids, even from outsiders that you wouldn't think would get a bid. But I think the interviews they gave and the statements they've made are pretty big, and in terms of them supporting women's cricket, it's huge. Like some of the things some directors have said have been like so refreshing. Like they're just so keen to push women's cricket, and on the same sort of level as the men. So obviously, I think there was a bit of a statement made, wasn't there, from the PCA about pre-season and going around all the domestic teams, seeing what was important to them in equity within the game and the things that they were pushing. And it seems that people have been listening and listening to some of the counties now, and what they want to do and how they want to go forward with that 2 teams, 1 club sort of mentality. It sounds like that's going to happen, and I'm very excited, and I wish I was 21, but I'm not. So what a great time to be a part of it, and because that we experienced it a little bit through, I don't know if you did, Charlie, but year 1 of the 100, just merging with your team, like with, I don't know if you experienced it, but at the Rockets, we sort of day 1 came in there with the boys. Like obviously, we've got Joe Root on our team, and it was just like, "Hi, Katherine, nice to meet you." Shook my hand, and then it's like, he knows my name, like, and he's talking to me. He's making time for me. We train at the same ground. We're wearing the same kit. We have the same changing room. We get the same nutrition. I know that sounds ridiculous, but it matters. Like everything just felt on par. No one felt above anybody, and it was great. And that's like a taste of what I believe is to come through this structuring. And I don't know if I know the numbers. Maybe you can correct me. Is it like 1.5 million to each of these tier 1 teams, and then about a quarter of 250,000 to the tier 2 team? So even tier 2 status is going to get some sort of remuneration, if that's the word.
So for those listeners who aren't aware, how many tier 1 teams will there be?
8, I think. I think it's same
8.
as
Yeah, it's going to
same
match
as
what it is
regional.
currently, isn't it?
Yeah, currently. Yeah.
But anyone can bid for it.
18 out of 20 first-class counties have gone for a bid, which is so encouraging. You know, people want women's cricket, want to have a team get representing. It's great.
Yeah, it matters.
I think they can see how marketable it is now as well. Like there's money to be made there. There's exposure to have, and I think we've led the way in terms of team sport over football and rugby in the past however long, and I think football's pretty much only just surpassed us, and how long can that last? I don't know. We'll see.
Well, there is a pathway professional cricket now. Girls can have a career in cricket, whereas when you were a young girl, Katherine, could you have envisaged having a career in cricket?
Absolutely not.
I've got a 12-year-old niece who 2 years ago, when the 100 started, 3 years ago when the 100 started, she was watching it on TV, and it just clicked her as a 10-year-old girl that she could be a professional cricketer. And I said, "Come on then, good luck."
Here's your ball.
I'll help you. I'll try and help you out. But no, that's been one of her main focuses for the last 3 years, really.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's
Keep inspiring her, please, Charlie.
What we want as well. It's amazing. Yeah.
So we talked about equity there briefly, and it's great that you feel like there was equity in the 100, certainly with the Trent Rockets team, Brunty. Between the 2 of you, is there still any issues with equity in the game, particularly in the gender side of things? Are we talking pay? Is that one of the main ones, or is there other ones that are just as frustrating?
Well, I guess pay is probably the big topic, isn't it? That sort of no one really wants to talk about. But I guess minimum salaries is crazy different. I know regionally a few girls struggle in terms of having to relocate where their region is, and in terms of wage, it's no more than 20,000. And that's it's not particularly livable when you want to be a world-class athlete. Fuel, train as hard as you can. Maybe you're doing work or college around that. It's it's not easy still.
It's not
There's
feasible,
still
is it?
a way to go for sure.
I went to a PCA meeting last year, and obviously a few of the girls were there. You get to learn a little bit more about the women's game and the money and some of the difficulties they come up against. But I didn't realise that some of these teams, they've only have 10 professional contracts. There's 11 in a team, and only 10 of them are professionally contracted. It's like, huh? Why can't you at least have 11? At least have 11 pros rather than just one of them isn't, or a few pay to play. So I couldn't get my head around that initially. But I know a lot of the girls either have second jobs or they have their professional sports women, but they're just not earning the money that kind of they need to back it up a little bit. Which it will improve. There's no doubt it will, but it needs to happen sooner rather than later, doesn't it?
It's hard because we want to be grateful as to how far we've come. Katherine wouldn't have dreamt of earning money and playing cricket, but I guess when you make progress, you can see how far there is to go. And it's hard to be grateful, but also wanting to push for more. And I think, that's why PCA and those sort of meetings are so important, because you get to know what players need and actually real life situations. If someone's got a team in London and struggling to pay their rent and go to training and commute and commit, and why should that stop them? They're being labelled a professional cricketer, yet they're struggling. Obviously, no one specific there, but certainly the case for a few girls.
No, it's true, and it's things are happening, but that is our problem. We're always just grateful, and we shouldn't be. We should be noisy. Anyway, let's move on to I've got to build up for this. Rachel Hayhoe Flint Trophy starts this week. Cricket is starting in the rain and the cold. The men been going, what's this, 2 weeks now? 2 weeks? Loads of cold off games.
Their second game. Finished today, didn't they?
Got plenty going though. Yeah. And you guys are going to be defending the title. Is it the Mighty Vipers, isn't it? Do you think you can do it?
Vipers now? Surely they're getting bored of winning everything.
No, I think we always want to win. Always. I mean, maybe we've got a really strong team this year, so looking forward to playing as many games as I possibly can, and my car's beeping.
Somebody's walking around it. As long as you've got Charlotte Edwards as your head coach, you're going to be winning everything.
Is that our new siren, Brunty?
It must be. Talking of sirens, we've got a cricket archive guest stat alert. Right, it is actually a pretty boring stat, this, Charlie, but it says here, you've dismissed 3 players 3 times in ODIs. And I'm going to let you guess
can you name them?
who they are.
Oh,
who are your bunnies? Come on.
Laura Wolfart.
Yeah, 1. Bingo.
No, I don't know.
I think you've just been playing the other 2.
Sophie Devine?
No.
No. Close.
I thought you would have dismissed somebody else more than this, but anyway, it's Amy Satterwhite, obviously retired, and Brooke Halliday. Obviously, off-spinners love a lefty. Do you love a lefty though?
I love
Gotta
a
love a lefty.
Yeah.
I think Smriti Vandana could be one for your pocket. I feel like it's going to happen. It's a pretty big one to have, isn't it?
They've got to touch wood now. Can't predict things like that.
Just saying, you heard it here first.
Yeah.
Right. PCA MVP prediction. MVP for the women's overall county.
Yeah, let's get a prediction, Charlie. Who do you predict will win it this year? And do you think Georgia Adams will keep winning it?
Yeah, I was going to say it would be boring to go with Georgia Adams, but she's pretty consistent, isn't she? She scores runs, she takes wickets. She's got good hands, captain points. Can't go wrong.
She's a pest. She's a pest.
It's got to be just
£7,500 for the winner. It's quite a decent amount of money as well, isn't it?
that's a year's salary.
Gag. Nice little gag. Nice. Enjoyed it. Nice little dig. Who's listening? So MVP, have you got any? You were third in England's winter MVP. Did you know that?
Huh. I didn't know that.
Another nice little stat for you, isn't it? What
Lovely.
are your aims for the summer? And thoughts on the Pakistan series in May?
Aims for the summer, just to play as much as possible.
Keep being brilliant.
Yeah, how boring. What a boring thing to say. I tell you what, I'd love to contribute with the bat a little more. Whether it's in regional cricket or down the order with England. Obviously hoping that we don't get to me, but yeah, I think I'd love to put in little cameos here and there, whether that's in the 100. But yeah, just keep being consistent, trying to take wickets as much as possible. Keep playing attacking cricket. That's such a media answer, isn't it? But that's what I want to do. So yeah. And Pakistan series is super exciting. I think. Well, I guess we're doing it alongside the men's again, like we did with the Ashes last summer. So looking forward to playing in front of some decent crowds and getting out there. So yeah, I think it's going to be a good summer.
Any predictions, or are you not going to go down that route?
You know, I'm not. I feel like I'm not a predictions girl. I'm just a go as you flow. I obviously want to win.
Catherine was predicting that you were going to smash the one-day series and win the T20s easily, and you did within reason, but you lost a couple of games, didn't you?
Yeah,
they just switched off.
Two from 8. Lost 2 from 8. We'll take it. Yeah, I think that's where we want to be more clinical. I guess is that, you know, games towards the end of series. You won a series, like, can you win convincingly? I mean, that's what it takes to be world class. That's what the Aussies do so well. Is when they're on top, they stay on top. So yeah, I think we've got to be a bit more clinical if we're being honest. But yeah.
Excellent answer.
Sounded like you've been trained.
Under the lids, big question.
Exactly. Good tee up, Jack. Nice. As we know, this show is all about getting under the lid with pro cricketers. We get to ask you questions and people get to know you a bit more behind, you know, the life of a pro cricketer, sitting in cars and, you know, having sensors go off and doing podcasts when you're old and retired.
You're welcome.
But we want to know one bit about you that nobody else knows, and it can obviously be a bit quirky, maybe a bit of a party trick. I mean, it can't be boring because we have to make you come up with another one, but hopefully you've got about 5 seconds to think while I'm talking. Something that nobody knows about you, Charlie. Give us it.
Well, people who know me well know this, but I guess I was going to say that I taught myself guitar over lockdown, and I take that on tour with me everywhere I go. But you'd be lucky if you hear me play, because I'm a bit shy about it. But that is something that I enjoy doing in my downtime. Just bought an electric guitar, so I'm going to see if I can start getting some riffs down, playing a bit of that, annoy my neighbours, annoy my housemates. But that was my fun fact.
Bit of heavy metal. I think we'll allow that. You can also, if you wouldn't mind helping Nat, because she's started, but she's been on a long pause of about 4 months now. So if you wouldn't mind teaching her.
Well,
she's probably
get
also shy.
Bring it on tour. We can have a cute little session.
A little jam. You can have a jam.
Yeah.
We'll put it on the gram as well.
I feel like there's a band coming.
No social media. They don't need to see that.
We definitely do. Under the Lid will be the first to have it as well. If you were to
I'll
be
come
in a
back
band
on.
name then,
Serenade you.
With Nat Sciver-Brunt, what would the band name be?
An easy one. Who else is musically inclined?
You.
I'm sure someone can sing. Nat can actually sing.
What, Gibbo, Danny Gibson, when she's not joking, I think she can sing. She's very loud. But like
Yes,
when
she
she
is.
takes it
I've
seriously,
worked with her before.
she can sing, I reckon.
She'd be first on karaoke, probably, wouldn't she?
And yeah, she'd love to be the center of that band. So, and that's okay. She
There
can
we
have
go.
it.
Under the Lid exclusive. First live show we do this summer. We've got a band booked. Perfect.
That can be at the end. Right.
Catherine, you
We've
have to do
reached the
something
end.
though. You both have to play.
Oh no, well I can maybe record it for you. I can't
You're
do
the
anything
manager.
else.
Band
Anyone
manager.
got
I'll
drums?
just- Yeah, I could smash some drums for you.
Yeah.
Nat can actually play the drums as well. You've got all this, inside
She
info
can do
here.
everything though. She doesn't count.
She doesn't
She can't
reveal
do.
these things because she's very actually shy, believe it or not.
Just like you.
Right. Yes, not me. I did used to be once upon a time about 15 years ago, but cricket's really ruined me, so now look at me. Right, the last
This is your
round.
favourite round, Brunty, isn't it? What we got?
This is my favourite round because it's pants. It's my NAF quiz. We do apologise in advance for how pants the questions are, but we've obviously had 2 contestants so far. We've had Ben Duckett and Sam Cook, and they've got 4 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say 6 is actually a very good score, Charlie, right? And there's going to be a prize at the end of the season to the winner, and it's going to be good. It's going to be worth having, right? So
I'm a bit nervous.
let's
now.
take.
I should
listen
to the other.
Could be a
other
guitar
couple of
prize.
episodes.
Oh, it could be. It could be a guitar, like an actual guitar. Let's get sponsors. Sponsors right in. I don't know any good ones. Right, you've got 60 seconds. Every correct answer is a run. The runs are on the board for everyone to see. Yeah, we'll be as quick as we can. We'll try not to ruin your go with answering things very slowly. So, are you ready?
As
Can I
Brunty
pass?
said
Here we
last
go.
week, our guests get to swing from the ring and answer as many
Swing
questions
from the ring.
as they
What a
can.
terrible line. Right, Charlie Dean. So last round. 3, 2, 1, go.
Question 1. Where is Michael's first game?
Beckenham.
First game. Yes. Who is it against?
Stars.
Correct. Number 3. You currently have the best ever bowling strike rate in women's ODI cricket. What is it?
Not a clue.
25.
18.
Wrong.
Where did you make your international debut?
Bristol.
Correct.
5. Who was your first international wicket?
Jessica.
Correct. What crisp brand is on the front of London Spirit's shirt?
Tyrrells.
Correct. Number 7. By what name is the common European viper also known?
Adam.
Yes.
Who was the non-striker when you faked a man-cad during the 2022 Hey-Ho Flint Trophy final?
Lindsay Smith.
Correct.
9. How many trophies have the Vipers won since 2020?
4.
Oh, 5. How many wickets did Sophie Eccleston take during the 2023 Ashes?
All 10.
Correct. No.
Yes.
Is
Wrong.
it?
Wrong, Brunty. It's
Oh.
20.
Oh.
So close. So close.
Where did I
Halfway
just
there.
read 10?
Hell of a round, though.
Oh,
We
it
need
was
to do a totting
question
up then.
10.
I feel like you might have got more than Sam Cook there.
We have a new leader, guys, and it's none other than Charlie Dean.
7.
Get in. I'm
7
not
and 10.
competitive, but I'll take that.
I'm not being funny. I thought 6 couldn't be beat, but were they a bit easy?
I don't feel like they're. She knows her nature and her snakes.
I think
Yes,
I
that
got
was a good one.
lucky.
And you pay attention to your shirt sponsor.
Good crisp.
Well, I love crisps. I would never forget my sponsor. Also, where are my crisps? I wanted a lifetime supply of skips, and it never happened.
You can't reveal that we didn't get the crisps.
Oh, sorry.
It's all kicking off now.
Oh, no.
100.
Now
I'll take a money, deal instead.
We'll start a campaign. Get Brunty
Yeah.
skips.
Yeah. Where are my skips?
So Dina, you go straight top of the league.
Yeah.
Get in.
Congratulations.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Top Druid.
Shall we I think we should let Charlie go.
Yeah, we can let you go
one.
to wherever you need to go now. You can get back on the road, turn your lights off, and get back on the road.
Turn the lights
Thank
off,
you.
stop the beeping, and get yourself home, gal.
Oh, what an unhinged episode.
Thank
Thanks,
you
guys.
so much for coming on. You've been a belter. A lot of insight, a lot of under the lid insight for our listeners. What a belter. She's a cracker, Brunty.
I actually can't believe that she's just done that in the back of a car.
She's done well, hasn't she? Because I feel like our producers were pretty happy with the technical side of it as well.
I know. Our listeners don't know, but we've been trying to get Charlie on for a couple of weeks, and we've had every nightmare that could possibly have been. And then when she messaged me a few hours ago saying, I'm stuck in traffic, might have to do this from my car. We make it work, don't we, Jack?
Not a lot to talk about this week in terms of results because there's been a draw in every one of the 9 fixtures for the first time since 2019. I was going to do a count back then. I can't remember any years. It's happened twice before, 2019 and I can't remember the other date off the top of my head. So there's no winners and losers, nobody out on the gas tonight, and there's no one sitting there wishing that something else had happened. But there's a lot of rain around today, which I think probably ruined quite a lot of results because there would have been a hell of a few results. But yeah, Surrey and Somerset nearly had an exciting finish. I think Surrey tried to chase 220 off of 20 overs, and they gave it a right nudge, and it fell up as a draw in the end. And Essex Kent Battle of the Bridge. I think Essex would have won that one, but the rain sort of saved Kent. There was a little moment though in the Kent game because Joe Denley played with his nephew.
Cool.
His nephew, who I believe is about 17, made his debut. Jaden.
How good is that?
And they came out to bat. But Jaden came out to bat with Joe in the final innings to try and save the game, and was not out 41 when stumps were called. And he was on a pair as well, so fair play to him. So yeah, I could run through them all and just throw a few names around, but there was a lot of draws flying around, a lot of very high scores. Warwickshire got 698 for 3 in how many overs was it?
Obscene.
134, which is actually a hell of a run rate, isn't it?
Maybe some sore bodies.
Sore
bodies everywhere.
I'm glad I'm retired. The Kookaburra ball can do one, all right? I know that you're supposed to upskill and find a way and all this crap, but when the wickets are going to be how they are, flat and rolled into oblivion early season because to try and get some cricket on them, it makes for some pretty dull games.
Do you know what the best thing about this is? You guys have had this Kookaburra 5 minutes and it can do one and everybody hates it, but I've had it my whole career and it was really shit.
There we go. That's a bit more extreme language. There's a bit of me that thinks, the best bowlers will still get wickets and stuff, and there needs to be a bit of in the wicket. But if some of these wickets are just no pace, no carry, and no, the Kookaburra is not built for English conditions.
Wait till the season gets on and we've had a bit of baking sun, and then they'll be really sad. It'll
be more than sad, I think. They'll be asking us to come out of retirement, Brunty, I think.
Honestly, the seamers will be no more. They'll be having a rest. The spinners will. In fact, the seamers might actually just turn the arm over a few leggies.
It'll turn a few seamers to spinners, won't it?
It definitely will. I've thought about it a few times. All the men, this is great because all the guys can document how painful my whole career with the Kookaburra has been now. Fantastic. Not one game with a Duke's ball in my whole career.
Have you ever bowled with a Duke? Did you ever try one in training or anywhere?
In training, and it was fabulous. Round corners, both ways.
Did you? You might not have been playing. I got Peter Siddle and myself were called in to see if we would offer a bit of insight, and you were there, but I don't think you were playing, were you? Because you were using the Duke. Was it that game using the Duke? It was, wasn't it?
No, I think it was because it was coming up the next.
You were playing a test match at Taunton, weren't you? Or I'm sure it was a test match at Taunton, or you were using the Duke, and Peter Siddle and myself were in Taunton and got asked to come and speak to the England bowlers about the pitch and the ball. But then the women's ball's smaller anyway, so.
Yeah, I retired from the obviously test match stuff earlier.
Yeah, so you were there as a coach, I think, or mentor, or lurking. Just cracking the buds in the corner, weren't you? The ales. Right, moving on. We've got more listener feedback, and you'll never guess what.
No.
It's all for Katherine Sciver-Brunt. She now has 4 fan mail letters, and I have 0, which I'm not bitter about at all, because it is basically Katherine's pod that I'm just rattling around trying to assist you through it.
This has to change.
Sandra Church writes, as an Essex supporter, I really enjoyed your podcast featuring Sam Cook. Thank you, Sandra. An excellent performance against Nottinghamshire. Sorry to hear that he's injured. Yeah, he came on the pod and got injured. I think reaching for his black book. And good wishes for his recovery. Looking to a good start to the season for Essex. Katherine, you definitely deserve your status of legend of the game. The passion, commitment you have shown over such a long and outstanding career is phenomenal. Although the last ODI result was disappointing, it was really heartening to see some really great performances by Captain Heather, Maya Bouchier, Amy Jones, Charlie Dean, and as always, NSB, your wife. I'm really looking forward to going along to watch the team play against Pakistan at Chelmsford at the end of next month. Well, that's wonderful, Sandra. And has Katherine paid you to write those notes?
Leave it out. Oh, Sandra Church is an absolute legend. Thank you for your lovely, heartfelt message.
She's not wrong, really, is she? She's not wrong.
I can't handle this. It's too much. It's lovely.
That's the only letter we've had. That's enough.
It is. Guys, we want more.
But we do love reading the feedback.
Especially about Jack. Even just write in with it. If you've got a dodgy story about Jack, that would be also ideal.
It's impossible. There isn't any.
If Mrs. Jack is out there listening, write in.
No.
Absolutely not.
Nope. Yeah, we'd love to hear anything.
Anyway.
Absolutely anything. Questions, pointers, bad news, good news, feedback, anything. You know where to find us. Hello at underthelid.co.uk or hashtag underthelid.
You love that hello, don't you? It's good though, I like that. You can't forget it then.
Exactly. We're getting used to this now. But that's 3 done.
3 down.
3 down,
23 to go.
23 to go. Bring on the next one.